Happy New Year. I am so excited for the year ahead, for it to be packed with more travel adventures around the world, and for the privilege of sharing those adventures with all of you. In 2025, I want to share more off the beaten path, lesser visited destinations around the world. It can be really hard to take your focus away from those epic places like Paris and Rome, Barcelona, London, Mexico City, Puerto, Vallarta, and the list goes on. There's a reason these places are becoming over-touristed, and it's because they are incredible cities, they are incredible destinations, and I completely understand why you want to visit them. I've visited them myself. But as over-tourism continues to become a part of the reality of travel, I want to help people get away from the most visited places because I think that that's a more fun way to travel, to get away from the crowds and the chaos and the busyness, but also because it's a more sustainable way to travel. You're spreading the wealth across the country, you're giving the people who live in those cities a little bit more space to live. But most importantly of all, the thing that I love most about getting off the beaten path is that you really get to know a destination when you escape the Disneyification, as I like to call it, of a tourist destination like Venice or Rome or Barcelona. And you get out to these smaller towns, these smaller cities, these lesser visited places where there's a little bit more authenticity, let's say. It allows you to get to know the history, the culture, the food, and the people in a way that you wouldn't if you were only visiting the most popular, busiest tourist destinations that have really built an image and a culture around tourism rather than around the people who live in these countries. And it makes sense to start off with a country that I know perhaps best of all, certainly better than I know my own. Mexico is a place that I can't believe it's been nearly a decade since I first moved there back in 2016. I spent 5 years living in and traveling around a ton of the country, especially the central region. And then even after leaving Mexico and calling a few other destinations around the world home, I continue to return as often as I can. In 2024, I went back 5 times, some to places that I have never been before, a few that were high on my bucket list, and then also returning to places that I love and have been to, but maybe it's been a little while. So in this video, I'm gonna share a few places that are definitely off the beaten path, a few places that are lesser visited for sure, and some places that are close to bigger touristed destinations that hopefully you can add to your list for when you do pop into those bigger destinations like Puerto Vallarta or Mexico City, how to escape the chaos and the busyness and really get to know a few more places around the country. So I hope you enjoy this video and let's get to it. Let's start with a place that I only just recently returned from and loved, and that is the Pueblo Mágico of Valladolid. I'll be sharing a full-length video in the coming weeks, but for now, let me tell you a little bit more about this small city. It's located in the state of Yucatan, about 2 hours from Mérida if you hop on the toll road, and nearly 3 if you take the free road. But one of the main draws is that it is very close to Chichen Itza. But it's also well located to visit other historical sites like Coba, Ekbalam, and Yaxuna. The food here is outrageously good, especially the smoked pork and sausages from the nearby town of Temotzon. It's significantly smaller and more affordable than Mérida, and you are only about 2 hours from Cancun Airport, so it's also really easy to get to from the airport. In addition to historical sites and great food, Valladolid is also surrounded by dozens of cenotes, natural sinkholes that serve as freshwater swimming spots around Yucatan, and you can easily find smaller ones that you can have all to yourself. A very different experience than the ones you'll find near Tulum and Playa del Carmen. Next on the list is the beautiful state of Michoacan, and to be more specific, since it's an enormous state, in particular the monarch butterfly migration areas close to the border with Estado de Mexico. I visited the sanctuary of El Rosario, which was about 4.5 hours drive from Mexico City. The butterflies were incredible. and so too was the food that we ate in towns like Angangeo and Quiroga, the home of carnitas. The people of Michoacan are so kind, and they're so excited to share their state with anyone who wants to visit. It was such an amazing place to get to know, and I really hope I get the chance to return again. Number 3 on the list is Riviera Nayarit, the coastal region in the state of Nayarit, just north of Puerto Vallarta. I love Puerto Vallarta. I have made many videos about my love of Puerto Vallarta, and I have been many times. But it's changing, it's getting busy, it's getting more expensive, and it's getting very built up. On my last trip to the region, I spent about half of my time north in Bucerias, San Pancho, and Lo de Marcos. There are even more beaches north of there that are quieter, more laid back, and still offer plenty of amenities and great beaches without the chaos of Puerto Vallarta or the equally stressful but still beautiful Sayulita. For outdoor adventure lovers, Chihuahua is a city that you should absolutely add to your Mexico bucket list. The city itself has a lot of history and great food, but it's the rest of the state, Copper Canyon, the indigenous Raramuri, the Mennonites who call this state home. This region is unique and beautiful, and if you love hiking or trail running, zip lining, or scenic train journeys, then be sure to put Chihuahua at the top of the list. It's without a doubt some of the best hiking I have ever done, especially in Mexico, and to pair it with immersive cultural experiences and the best machaca burritos that I have pretty much ever had sums up why I love this state so much. Loreto is another spot that is much less visited than the other cities in my beloved Baja California Sur. Located about 4 hours north of La Paz, along the calm waters of the Gulf of California. If you love Todos Santos, La Paz, and Los Cabos, but are tired of battling with the ever-growing crowds there, then you will love Loreto. White sand beaches, islands, whale watching, kayaking, hiking, petroglyphs, a gorgeous downtown, and of course, tons of delicious seafood on offer. It's laid back, quiet, and there's even an international airport here. Next up is the beautiful state of San Luis Potosí. I've known about this destination for a while, but was really convinced of its beauty after watching Alex Whitman's videos about visiting. I'll link to her videos below so you can get to know the area better. Located in central Mexico, the Huasteca Potosina is a stunning natural area with waterfalls, lakes, and rivers to explore. Last place on this list I am firmly putting on my personal must-visit in 2025 list is the state of Sonora. Many people are familiar with the town of Puerto Peñasco, located a short distance from the border with Arizona. It's an easy place to drive to from the US. But the state has more coastline with quiet beaches and towns, an insane landscape for exploring, mountain biking, hiking, camping. There are places like the Pinacate Biosphere, ancient petroglyphs, canyons to hike through, historical cities to explore that are packed with culture that you won't find anywhere else in Mexico. And of course, epic cuisine to sample, including one of my favorite Mexican dishes, machaca. I hope you found this video helpful. It's getting chilly up here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm dreaming about getting back down south of the border. Got my collection of Mexican souvenirs, my pillows from Mexico too. It's a country I love deeply and that I love to get to know better. So I hope you have added a few more places to your list so that you can get to know it better. If you have any questions about any of the destinations, or you have others on your list that are lesser visited that I didn't mention in this video, let me know in the comments below so I can add them to my list. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.